Good evening and welcome to the NewsHour Agenda. A day after the opposition unity meeting in Karnataka, Team I.N.D.I.A. But that's not all. Elsewhere in Bengal, the gloves are off between the left and the TMC. Times now has learned that the two parties are not ready to accept the one versus one formula for the 2024 elections. And today, the left went on to call TMC governance a form of dictatorship. In Punjab, the Congress accuses the I.N.D.I.A party of vendetta against their leaders. So with the opposition alliance looking to save democracy, as they'd like to call it, is their strategy being called out by their own allies?
टीएमसी के खिलाफ और टीएमसी की तानाशाही रुख जो बंगाल में दिखाई दिया है पूरे पंचायत के चुनाव में, बंगाल के अंदर ये जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बचाने का, जनवाद बचाने का, धर्मनिरपेक्षता को बचाने की जो परिस्थिति है वो बंगाल के ही आधार पर तय होगा। लेकिन मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि जनवाद के ऊपर हमले करके आप जनवाद की रक्षक के नाम पर खड़े होंगे, उसकी बहुत कम क्रेडिबिलिटी है।
हम पंजाब में मुख्य विरोधी पार्टी है आम आदमी पार्टी। आज आम आदमी की पार्टी के साथ लड़ कौन रहा है? सीधम सीधा भगवंत मान मुख्यमंत्री पंजाब हमारे लोगों के साथ वेंडेटा कर रहे हैं। कौन लड़ रहा है? बीजेपी लड़ रही है, अकाली दल लड़ रहा है, हम लड़ रहे हैं। तो मेरे कहने का मतलब ऐसी किसी प्रकार की किंतु परंतु कहीं नहीं है। हम लड़ेंगे और हमें लड़ना आता है, लेकिन जहां सिद्धांतों की बात है, जहां देश की बात है, वहां देश पहले है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us for more on this, we have with us Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anandranath, author, is with us. Also with us on the broadcast is Brajesh Kalapa, leader of the I.N.D.I.A party. Tehseen Purawala is a political analyst. Joining us, as is Vivek Srivastav, political analyst. Professor Manojit Mandal, political analyst, also with us on the broadcast. Tehseen, let me start with you first. Now, when we have seen members of parliament get suspended in over the last several sessions, every time the reaction that comes in from opposition parties, including the Congress and others, is that this is some kind of throttling of democracy.
Correct.
Why should the same yardstick not be applied in the Karnataka Assembly where Congress is in power, sir?
Because the BJP MLAs are behaving like goons. They threw papers on the speaker, deputy speaker, which is
and
unacceptable.
MPs in parliament, sir? MPs in parliament have done similar things.
Allow me to expose the BJP and their mindset. In parliament, while they were fighting for farmers, where 700 farmers were martyred, nobody threw papers. They tore a book, nobody threw papers. But those who tore the book, that is Sanjay Singh and Pratap Singh Bajwa, were not suspended. Why? Because Punjab was going to elections. They suspended 12 other MPs. When did they suspend them? In the next session, which is against parliamentary rules. In this particular session, these guys have been suspended for throwing papers on the deputy speaker. I am asking you on this show, if violence is accepted, then what are we going to make of our assembly? Number one. Number two, if the BJP thinks the Congress speaker has done anything wrong, the speaker of the house, go to court and get an order. Why are you not going to court?
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You cannot say that in parliament members are acting violently and action taken on them is wrong. But if here people are behaving, in an unruly manner, then we will take action. In fact, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, let me add to that. Mr. Basavaraj Bommai says that members of the Legislative Assembly of Karnataka have behaved in an even more unruly fashion in the past, yet no action has been taken. If that is the tradition there that the former chief minister claims, and I would suppose that he's speaking some sense because he's been the chief minister, he spent a considerable amount of time in the assembly, then that same yardstick should be applied now.
The honorable ex-chief minister is absolutely right. He's absolutely right. The BJP has behaved even in the past in a more unruly manner, and no one's taken action. But now action has to be taken.
He's talking about the Congress, all right. Yeah, no, so I'll let Sanju.
Madhav, just get Times Now footage. Just one second. Sorry, Sanjuji. Just get Times Now footage. Yadurappa ji as chief minister got the police commissioner inside the assembly. Madhav, if anything can be worse for democracy, a police commissioner was standing inside the assembly. It is kudos to the Congress MLAs that they did not throw the commissioner out.
Sir, at this rate, you will go into certain video images that were being viewed in the Karnataka Assembly. Someone else will say cash was brought into the assembly. There's no end to this debate. We're talking about unruly behavior. Let's stick to that. Sanju Verma wants to respond to you now. Yes, Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Madhav, first and foremost, I take strong objection to Tehseen saying BJP MLAs were behaving like goons. Goons बनने का ठेका यदि किसी पार्टी ने ले रखा है ठेकेदार कोई है वो है कांग्रेस, एंड आई टेल यू व्हाई. तहसीन पूरा बड़ा, and your audience should hear this, Madhav.
I apologize.
Please keep quiet. I did not heckle you. Chup ho jao. Madhav.
He's apologizing to you. Sanju, listen to what he's saying. He's saying he's apologizing for using the word goons. So I accept his apology. Huh?
The BJP MLAs are even worse than that.
Come on,
May I
Tehseen. Okay, yeah.
I do not accept Tehseen's apology because Tehseen is a no-gooder, and you know, he's somebody who actually tries to think that he's smarter by half, but actually knows very little of everything.
Let's not get personal now, please. Let's not get personal. Yeah. Let's get the questions he has raised. Yes.
Personal. Yes. Now let me respond to Tehseen, because you know he always comes half prepared or unprepared. This is the monsoon session of 2022. The speaker was Om Birla. The discussion which was meant to happen was on the supposed fuel price hike. The four suspended Congress members of parliament were, and Tehseen, listen carefully because you're hard of hearing, Manikam Tagore, Ramya Haridas, Jyoti Mani, T.N. Prathapan, all four Congress MPs suspended by Om Birla for doing what? For throwing paper rockets, shouting slogans, jumping into the well of the house and holding placards despite Mr. Om Birla repeatedly saying, we will have the discussion, please shant ho jaiye, chup baithiye. There are videos to that effect. Please go and educate yourselves. Don't teach us on democracy. Now I will tell you, coming to the moot point, that is Karnataka, because Congress always digresses from the issue. Madhav, first and foremost, let me tell you that the ex-Chief Minister, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, and the various BJP and JDS MLAs from Karnataka wanted a discussion as to why in the two-day opposition meeting held in Bengaluru, IAS officers of, All India Central Cadre and even those belonging to the Karnataka Cadre were deployed to welcome a Mamata Banerjee, to see off a Sitaram Yechuri, to welcome a Rahul Gandhi, to see off XYZ from RJD and JDU. The All India Service, basically the IAS conduct rules of 1954 clearly say that barring
that's another issue. Once again, Sanju Verma, that's a completely different issue, and I think we'll be veering away from the entire issue of democracy if we get into that, because that's a very technical issue. We've actually explored that, we've reported on that, and there are arguments for and against it. No doubt it's a debate. But I just wanted to hold your horses for just a minute, because we're joined by one of the suspended BJP MLAs in the Karnataka Assembly, Bharat Shetty, who's joining us. Mr. Bharat Shetty, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. Sir, before I begin with, the issue on which we were protesting, etc., many are saying that this kind of unruly behavior, throwing papers at the chair, etc., is something that, our legislators, who people of the state would look up to, just like our parliamentarians do, and when they engage in such unruly behavior, it raises eyebrows. Is that something that could have been avoided in retrospect?
We are representatives of lakhs and lakhs of people. Okay? We represent them, they have questions, we have questions too. When our questions are not heard in the floor of the house, we don't have any other option but to protest and go into the well. Likewise, we went into the well. We had many questions. You know that what are the questions? They have posted IS officers for receiving this non-state guests also. Out of the 30 IS officers, there are around maybe 20 people or 20 people who are not state guests. Maybe 10 people were maybe some chief ministers and others like that. These 20 IS officers were posted. First question was that. Second question, there have been 48 farmer suicides in the country, in the state, after Congress has taken over. 48 suicide cases were there. The crime rate has increased by 35%. We wanted to ask these questions.
No doubt.
We asked them, you give us time to ask these questions. They didn't let us. We went into the well. We protested. This protest and tearing the paper and all these things, you take from White House, British Parliament, or the Gram Panchayat, it happens. It happens. That's a way of protesting.
But throwing it at the speaker's chair, sir, the chair is supposed to have the respect of all members of the house. If once you throw papers at the chair, that is disrespecting the chair, is it not? And is that not questionable behavior?
Let me answer that. Someone tore the paper, I agree. Likewise, DK Shukumar has torn paper in the assembly. The minister Zamir Ahmad has gone on top of the speaker's chair and tried to remove the mic. And more than that, everything, most important, they manhandled the speaker. This speaker went and killed himself after that. Killed himself. These Congress people went and manhandled the speaker in the Legislative Assembly. He went and killed himself. We did not rush toward the speaker's seat. We were in the well. Someone tore the paper, I agree. But the reason was the speaker was acting like a spokesperson of the Congress. The speaker himself attended the Mahagathbandhan party. The speaker himself attended. He's supposed to be.
I want Brajesh Kalapa to come in now on this. Bharat Shetty, you're with us on a panel. I want Brajesh Kalapa to quickly respond to you. Brajesh Kalapa, there are past precedents of Congress legislators behaving in a far worse manner than we have seen today. Is the charge of Bharat Shetty, sitting MLA, who's a suspended MLA as well?
See, honestly, Madhav, it doesn't matter as to who behaves badly because everybody generally behaves badly in the assembly. But one thing I think must be borne by the BJP.
But why should we tolerate such behavior
against them for a long time? That when the person sitting on the speaker's seat belongs to a depressed classes, I think the members ought to have tempered themselves because this sends a very wrong signal across the state that a person who belongs to the depressed classes is sitting. Otherwise, you generally don't behave like this. And only when a person...
when a speaker is there, he is a speaker. He or she represents the power of the presiding officer of the House. Is the background of the speaker going to be different? Brajesh Kalapa, you're a lawyer. When you walk into a court, is the background or the community of the judge looked at?
No,
before people speak, I mean, it's a quasi-judicial function that the speaker is performing. As we know constitutionally, it is a very important function. So why are you raising this question? Isn't it inappropriate, sir?
No, whether it's inappropriate or not, this is being spoken about. If you don't want to discuss this in your debate, you should have told me that these kind of debates is, subject ought.
Mr. Kalapa, for the first time I'm hearing anyone talk about the background of a speaker.
And I want to let you know and your viewers know.
I've never heard such an argument in my 22-year journalistic career. That you're talking about the background of an office holder.
What is it? You tell me.
It's a constitutional post.
On what basis do people become ministers? On what basis do people become opposition leaders? Of course, caste matters. Now, if you feel that, no, it should not have been raised by me, I don't mind. But I'm telling you that this is something which is being talked about. This is something which is going to hurt the BJP very badly. One. Two is, as far as, bad behavior by, members of political parties, this is across the board, this cuts across the board. And I don't hold a brief for anybody, whether BJP, Congress or JDS or whoever. And I'd like to say that, look, I think as far as members of legislature are concerned, let them be given some kind of lessons in temperance and in regard to how to conduct themselves and so on. And
I want Bharat Shetty to respond to
this. This is certainly an issue.
Yeah, but Sanjay Verma, please, there's a member of Legislative Assembly who's been at the receiving end of this action of the Congress. Let him respond. Bharat Shetty.
See, this the speaker U.T. Kader is a first-time speaker. There was a orientation class for all the first-time MLAs. I think there should be an orientation class for the speaker also. Today, he went to one hospital along with the CM. He's moving around. He's behaving like a puppet of Congress. The speaker place, the place of the seat of the speaker has its own respect. But he is not. He's being one-sided in the assembly also. See, what he could have done today was, when we were well, all the speakers do that. You adjourn the meeting for 5 to 10 minutes. You ask all the leaders to come to his room. You speak to them. You settle the matter. You tell them, okay, if you want to ask such a particular question, I'll let you ask. That is what happens every time. This time, they were not able to face our questions. He was not ready to answer. The government was not ready to answer. Why did they post 30 IAS officers to the political
Brajesh Kalapa, the point being made here is, even when we are asking democratically an act of omission or commission of the government, in this case, of course, the question is whether IAS officers should have been posted or not. Perhaps legally they may have every right to post state guests, but it is a moral and ethical question because you're using administrative machinery for a political cause. So is that not a relevant question? And let me put that question, in fact, across to Vivek Srivastava of the left. Vivek Srivastava, is that not a morally correct question to ask? In a legislative assembly, if any act of the government of omission or commission is using for political purposes the executive machinery, then that is certainly a pertinent question, is it not?
Right. Agreed. So does that mean that we start throwing things at the speaker or the deputy speaker? Are you trying to justify it?
So will you justify the behavior? So you justify the behavior of opposition parliamentarians in parliament also?
Why are
no, absolutely not. Yes, no, absolutely not. All I'm trying to say is, first of all, when Sanju Verma was saying, she was saying why you are using the words BJP goons. If you throw paper at the deputy speaker, you are a BJP goon. And you are a big blot on the people who elected you and made you an MLA and sent you to the assembly to represent them.
Dancing on tables is correct, Mr. Srivastava.
Yes, you are a goon.
Protesting on top of tables is correct. Protesting on top of tables is correct. Chanting slogans, throwing books, throwing things at the table is correct, and the chair is correct according to you. So one yard, sir, I am not for a moment justifying any. I am not for a moment justifying any lumpen behavior, especially inside the house. But that certainly should not be allowed.
Something is wrong. Take action.
Can I please respond?
Okay. So take action. Take action. Yeah, Vivek Srivastava is justifying the action. He says it's perfectly acceptable.
Very clear.
Sanju Verma.
May I please?
Decor of the house.
I did not heckle this man. You have to moderate the debate. I need my time.
And one more thing.
Vivek, you have spoken. You have asked a question. Now listen to the response, please. Listen to the response.
Lunch break on time. Yeah.
You asked a question. Now let's listen to the response, please. Yes.
Allowing a lunch break at the time. So the BJP.
Madhav, you have to moderate this fellow.
One second. Sanju Verma, please calm down. Vivek Srivastava, you also calm down. You have asked a number of questions. We have limited time on this debate and there are 3 other panelists to speak. Sanju Verma.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm perfectly calm, but I need to show the mirror to this leftist goon, and I will call you that because you leftists are basically जो होता ना आपके DNA में खून खराबा लिखा हुआ है. The Bolshevik revolution decimated and killed over 40 million. Mao Zedong's philosophy killed over 100 million. The Gulag terror camps killed over 20 million. और आप यहाँ लेफ्ट के लोग नंदीग्राम 2007 का स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड वायलेंस भूल चुके हो क्या? यहाँ बीजेपी को आप भाषण दे रहे हो. Have you forgotten Nandigram violence? The state sponsored violence by the left in Nandigram, due to which you were thrown out of West Bengal. शांत हो जाओ. Now let me come to the point.
With which the communist parties of this country are.
Madhav, you do not allow me my time when I'm speaking.
No, please go ahead. Nobody is stopping you from speaking. Go ahead.
So.
No, but why can't you ask him to keep quiet? Because you don't.
Yes, I have asked him to keep quiet. I have asked him to keep quiet. Complete your point. Go ahead.
And follow.
Anand, just protect.
अरे भाई साहब चुप हो जाओ.
Tehseen, 1 second. Tehseen, we can't have you, Mr. Srivastava, and 5 people speaking at the same time. For heaven's sake, let's give 20 seconds to Sanju Verma. Let her finish her point, and then we go across to other panelists. Please complete your point, Sanju Verma. 20 seconds.
Mr. Srivastava, each time you talk about democracy, you please look at the fact that your left is limited to one state in Kerala. You were booted out by the BJP in Tripura in 2018 and you could not come back to power even in 2023. TV show पर आकर सिर्फ बहस करने से कुछ नहीं होता. पहले चुनाव जीतना सीखो. Now let me come to the point. I will just say this. Why did the Chief Secretary Vandita Sharma, when she clearly said she does not want IAS officers to be deployed for receiving or seeing of politicians, why was her advice to the Chief Minister ignored? Why did Siddaramaiah overrule Vandita Sharma, who's the Chief Secretary, and sent more than 3 dozen IAS officers to receive Mamata Banerjee, to see of Rahul Gandhi, to receive Sonia Gandhi, to see of Tejasvi Yadav, so on and so forth? Okay, that's an important charge. That's an important charge. That's a very, very serious charge. And I want Tehseen to respond to that before I go across to Anand Ragnathan. Tehseen, respond to that. The Chief Secretary's objections were overruled by the CM while employing all of these IAS officers as special gatekeepers, as Kumaraswamy calls them, for these opposition leaders. In any case, whatever be the legality of it, it's a huge question of propriety and morality.
The honorable member of the Legislative Assembly is here. Is the Chief Secretary's objections in writing, do they have that? They don't. They are lying. Where is the objection in writing? He's not given anything. They are making up lies. And yet the government was ready to discuss it. Show it in writing, expose it on Times Now. The honorable MLA is here. Tell him to put it out right now. He's sitting there. He'll have the documents on his phone. Please put it out, honorable MLA.
Sanju Verma, is there anything to back up the claim? Okay, you've asked a question. Let her respond. Is there any proof to back up your claim?
This is all over the local media. Please ask Tehsil
Okay,
to
so there's no
speak to the
proof.
so-called reliable
Okay, there's no
sources
proof. There's
in
no proof. All right,
Karnataka.
that's settled. That's settled. For the moment, there's no proof. All right, for the moment, it may have been reported, but there's no proof. Let me bring in Dr. I.N.D.I.A now. Dr. Ranganathan, multiple questions have been raised by this entire episode. From Karnataka to Bengal to Punjab. There are some 3 or 4 very important developments today which raise the entire question or spectre of democracy which the opposition alliance is attempting to save, allegedly. And within their own ranks, there are some very serious questions that now arise. Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I would like to make 3 points briefly. Number one, as for my good friend Vivek Srivastava, who says that people who've torn and thrown papers at the speaker are goons, I want to take a few names here. These are CPIM MLAs Jayarajan, TV Rajesh, James Matthew, Kunja Hamid, and Sivan Kutti. In 2015, they not only threw papers at the speaker at Kerala Assembly when the budget speech was going on, they created so much ruckus, they disrupted, they flung chairs, one of the MLAs also fainted. This is speaker's chair toppled, you can see the thing. So I want to ask a very simple question to Vivek Srivastava. Are these CPIM MLAs goons? Yes or no?
Respond, Vivek Srivastava.
Against them? No, not at all, not at all. And
okay, so they are not goons. All right.
Why do you quote?
That's
Are they role models for you?
Mr. Srivastava,
Mr.
Srivastava, you cannot have double standards here.
Are they role models for you?
No.
They're not goons.
They're not goons according to you.
Actually, see, Anand, Madhav, what is wrong is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. No, listen to me. What is wrong is
To
wrong.
call them goons then. Call a spade, sir.
Not the way.
Have the courage of conviction to call a spade.
However, quoting what happened, 70 साल में ये हुआ इसलिए हम अब गलत करेंगे. I mean, you need to come out of that narrative now. 10 years almost you have been in power. You have not been able to perform. We ask you questions as opposition leaders. And the only thing, Dr. Ranganathan, that you have to quote and say is, 70 साल में कुछ नहीं हुआ साहब, इसलिए अब हम सही हैं. This narrative itself is wrong. So get out of the narrative. Talk of today. If they threw paper, they are wrong. If they were suspended, it was right.
हाँ तो goons है बोल दीजिए सर. He's saying आप admit करिए goons है.
They are valued members and I belong to JNU.
गलत है.
नहीं, they are not goons.
So goons तो बोल दो सर. सिर्फ बीजेपी को goons मानते हैं. कांग्रेस लेफ्ट में कोई गूंज नहीं है.
जो भी स्पीकर
सारे गूंज हैं. सारे गूंज हैं बोल दो सर. से वे दे आर ऑल गूंज.
असेंबली और द पार्लियामेंट वो गलत है. बिल्कुल है सर. बिल्कुल है सर. हम बोल रहे हैं गूंज है.
Okay. Anand Ranganathan, you have done the unthinkable. Vivek Srivastava has conceded they are goons. He has conceded the left MLAs are goons. Yeah. Okay. Credit to you for that.
But then he is not.
He might be for this. No, Vivek, please. Vivek, for what you've said, Madhav.
Okay. There are questions. There are very important questions, but let Dr. Ranganathan have his 30 seconds, please.
Yes, it's very worrying now because for what he's admitted, Vivek, my good friend, might be thrown out from CPIM and next thing you know, he might join the BJP. No, but let me come to the main thrust of the thesis, Vivek. Look, there are 2 points here, Madhav. One, you yourself have outed the hypocrisy of Tehsil. Because Tehsil was outraging when the Congress MLAs, when the MPs created ruckus, not only in BJP-ruled state government, but also in the central government parliament. Then Tehsil would say, oh, this is death of democracy. Now, you outed that hypocrisy, but I want to move away from hypocrisy because, Madhav, to be honest with you, every politician, MP or MLA belonging to every party has not only rushed to the well of the house, has disrupted the house, had flung things. But even 2 months ago, Bihar Legislative Assembly suspended a BJP MLA for ripping up the mic. A week ago, Congress MLAs were suspended for ripping up mics. This is across parties. The question is, as Mr. Bomai said, and let me quote what he said. It's delightful. This is the difference between Congress and BJP. Mr. Bomai said, when Congress disrupted the house, likewise, when we were in government and Speaker was there, when they ripped up things, we didn't do anything. When we have ripped up things, Congress has suspended. तो भाई गलती किसकी है? बीजेपी की गलती है ना? आपने रूल्स क्यों नहीं फॉलो किए? You were softy, For the last 10 years, you are softy. Congress comes to power.
Right.
Within a
Nobody
month,
is softy.
Right.
BJP has
Whip
never been
lashes.
softy.
And now you are
BJP
blaming
has never
Congress.
been softy.
Professor Mandal.
Don't say that.
Professor Mandal, let Professor Mandal respond to that. Professor Mandal, this is hypocrisy,
have
says Dr. I.N.D.I.A.
Don't
One
say
second.
BJP
Vivek, you have spoken. Now let others come in here.
BJP is
Professor
You have spoken.
Professor Mandal, I know you have a problem with each other's parties, respective parties that you support, but please allow each other to speak at least.
No, the BJP is talking about parliamentary decorum and democracy inside parliamentary platform. I think is a joke of the day. What they did during that farm law agitation, now look at how she's laughing already. What they did during that farm law agitation.
No personal comments. I said this earlier also, no personal comments. Yeah.
Suspending MPs after MPs. 19 of our MPs, TMC's MPs were suspended. And not that, they did not even stop there. They filed criminal cases against the MPs for doing just thing because they had to take the law back. And even thereafter, the BJP or the speaker or the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, they didn't even apologize. That they were absolutely right with the farmers, on the side of the farmers, on the side of the victim. Clear when the government had to take back the law. The government has to retract. And even then, they did not take it back. And now they are talking about democracy inside the temple of it's Raj temple of democracy.
Okay, Sanju Verma, your criticism is not fair because you have misused the chair is the allegation. He says that disproportionate action has been taken on parliamentarians in the past and therefore your complaint today rings hollow. That's his claim. Please respond to him.
Basically, problem ये है whether BJP is in power or BJP is in the opposition. Blame और सारी जिम्मेदारी BJP की है. Anyway, let me come to the moot point. I find it very amusing and I'm not going to get personal. Why Sanju Verma laughing? अरे भाई मेरी मर्जी, आपका क्या? Anyway, let me just say one thing. TMC, the recent Supreme Court judgment dated the 20th of June 2023. Supreme Court said to Mamata Banerjee, in no uncertain terms, and I'm quoting ad verbatim, license to hold elections is not a license to violence. You do not inspire confidence. We uphold the Kolkata High Court judgment pertaining to central deployment of forces, and after the polls were completed on the 8th of July, there's another judgment by Kolkata High Court on 11th July saying we have given various notices. What is the use of holding elections if they are not free and fair? People continue to die. This is the Kolkata High Court judgment of July 11th. Thodi sharam karo bhai sahab.
I want to add one question to that. Manojit Mandal, today you had Brinda Karat say, today you had, one second, Sanju Verma, let me just come in. You had Brinda Karat, and this is not Sanju Verma, the BJP saying this. This is somebody as a comrade, who's close to Vivek Srivastava, or his party's leader, if I can put it that way, who says that I want to say one thing. You cannot save democracy by attacking it. Is that not a very pertinent question from within your own alliance, Professor Mandal?
I tell you. Look at the statistics and look at these fake lectures from BJP. 48% of the votes went to the opposition in Panchayat election. Record in the country in such election. 48%. Please stop her. Please stop her. Please stop her. Please stop her.
Okay. Sanju.
Please stop her.
Sanju. Yeah.
Please stop her.
Yes. Calm down, ladies and gentlemen. Calm down. Yeah. One at a time, please. We cannot have this. No. We can't have this. We can't have this.
One of the fascist parties in the world. She represents one of the fascist parties.
Let's calm down, please. Let's not reduce this debate.
Did I disturb her?
Not yet spoken. Prashanti SG, what is your party going to do? Are you going to protest on the streets of Bengaluru as well? Are you going to be hand in hand with the BJP? Because whether your party is going to full on support the BJP on this issue or not has also been under question.
Yes, Madhav, the situation could have been moderated by the Deputy Speaker, either by adjourning the session or by bringing business committee. Mr. Bharat Shetty could answer about this business committee. They have made a business committee and discussed in a constructive way, which has not happened. See, Congress always stooping into caste politics. Mr. Rudrappa Lamani, the Deputy Speaker, he's a Dalit. He's from Dalit. They are using Dalit as a weapon and a revenge.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Prashanti, sorry, completely out of time. Would have liked to have you speak a little more, but certainly if panelists cannot outshout each other or try to do that, we certainly will have time for everyone. But on that note, Bharat Shetty, Sanju Verma, Dr. I.N.D.I.A, Prashanti. Brajesh Kalappa, Tehseen Poonawalla, Vivek Srivastava, and Professor Monijit Bantal. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.